Well, Stewie, welcome to Allstars Cricket. It's great to have you on.
Thanks, mate.
As a fellow former player and as a coach, mate, it's great to have you on and have a bit of a chat about a couple of your roles at the moment. One with Bangladesh Cricket as the head coach, and as head coach of Stuart Law in the Bangladesh Premier League. Mate, as a player, has it been a bit of a change for you to move into a coaching role?
Well, mate, definitely been a massive change, and there was no real transition period for me. I finished playing county cricket in the 2009 season, and by the end of that year, I was Trevor Bayliss' assistant at Sri Lanka. So it was a great opportunity to work with players of the calibre of Mahela Jayawardene, Sangakkara, Malinga, leading up to obviously started on an Indian tour, quite a difficult tour to start on, but leading into a World Cup and having performed pretty well that World Cup was a big buzz, and I had to learn along the way, playing for 20 years, then going straight into coaching. It was a massive change.
And what have some of the challenges been for you in the coaching role? What have you found hard?
I found working at time management, working not only with the team, but you got squads as well that need to be nurtured and brought along, spend a lot of time playing cricket, doing cricket, and to work all that into one goal, which is making the national team of whichever country you're in as strong as they possibly can be. That has been an incredible challenge, and doing it in non-English speaking countries as well. So didn't pick up a lot of the local language, but you learn enough. Once you're around the players, you learn enough to find out what's going on. You can understand a little bit more, and once you do, I think you get a better rapport with the players.
Yeah, and can you give us a bit of an idea? I'm sure some of the coaches, or particularly the coaches listening, would be interested to get a bit of an idea about your coaching methodology in terms of what do you think are the most important things to have, skills to have as a coach?
Oh, look, I think patience is obviously an absolute critical one to have. If you don't have patience, you can fly off the handle at very small things, especially dealing with the way the world lives on the subcontinent. That's very frustrating in the first place. But look, my main thing is you've got to make it fun. I believe that you don't just do cricket for the sake of doing cricket. You've got to have a purpose as well. But if you can incorporate a lot of fun along the way, good healthy competition in a net situation or a practice situation is always good as well. You find out a lot about your players in those situations, how they deal with pressure, how they handle pressure, and that comes in great stead when you enter game situations, tournaments. You find out your better players who can handle the pressure better. But mate, number one thing is life's you're meant to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy your thing. If you're not enjoying it, you may as well not be doing it. But also, don't just do it for the sake of it. Go there, do it with a purpose.
And at some stage, both as a player and as a coach, you're always going to have, or you're going to be faced with adversity.
Yeah. You're
going to have a period that you don't do so well. From a team perspective, when you're coaching a team that's had a bad game or they've lost, or if you're talking with a player or working with a player after they've had a lean trot, that's a huge challenge. I mean, how do you approach a situation like that?
Well, you try and break it down with the player, the individual themselves. You go back to their practice, their preparation. Are they doing anything different? Have they, ticked all the boxes they need to tick before a game or a series starts? And you just want the honesty. You need honesty from the player and saying, yes, I've done everything possible. I'm as fit as I possibly can be. Yes, I worked on the bounces. And if they've told you that, and then they go out and you can tell that they haven't, well, then you've got something to work with, and you can work out a method. I believe you've got to be honest. You've got to be upfront and honest. You can't beat around the bush. You can't sugarcoat anything, especially when it comes to international sport. It's a tough arena to be in. You're not going to be handed a career on your plate you've got to go out and work hard for it, but the hard work starts at the practice. And if someone's gone through a lean period, or the team's not winning, those practice sessions you've got to really go over with a fine-tooth comb to see if you can add anything or take anything away that's going to make the players A, happy, and B, perform better on the cricket field.
And as a captain for a long time of a hugely successful first-class team, Queensland, one of the better performing first-class teams in Australia, you really had a period there where you dominated first-class cricket in Australia. And as captain and as a leader, how have you found do you think the leadership skills are easily transferable into a coaching role, and do you think how important is leadership as a coach?
Yeah, obviously the coach is very much a leader. I find it very frustrating though, as a captain of a team, you can instruct the players what you want. In the team meetings you come up with a generic plan. If it's not being adhered to, you can actually go out there and do something about it. As a coach, you come up with the same sort of plans now. If you see it not working the way you want, you can't enter the field, you can't go out and bat, you can't go out and bowl. So that is the big frustration I have in dealing with it. But hopefully, nowadays the youngsters, they take a bit longer to know where you're coming from or understand what you want them to do. You just got to keep on it, keep telling them over and over again. But that's the most frustrating thing for me, is not being able to actually go out there and take part. Which, as captain of Queensland, that's what I like to do. If the players weren't doing what you instructed, or they weren't doing what they said in the meeting, you'd tell them. If they continued not to, you have to go out there and show them.
Hence, that's where the patience comes in.
It comes in handy now, yeah. Back in the day, mate, you didn't really have to be too patient, but over here, yes, patience is a virtue.
And if we can go back to Select Royals, it's obviously been a tough first up season in the Bangladesh Premier League for you as a coach. Where to from here? If next year, where are your areas of focus, and what do you think? Some areas that you need to sort of work on and improve moving forward with Select Royals.
Yeah, you spoke about adversity, losing our first 7 games of the tournament, and now we've won 2 in a row, so we've turned that round nicely. Things that we'd like to improve on, maybe seek a bit deeper into the pool of players, see if we can alter our squad and work out. The whole thing this year was very, very rushed. Particularly with the Select Royals franchise. We didn't have much time to plan our strategies in the auction, and also we didn't have much time together as a team before the series started. I think if we can go back and work out, have a plan in place where the management group, they can sit down and say, right, this is what we want to do, and not start a month out, start next week. This is what we need to put in place, have the ownership in place, a direct point of call from the ownership on call all the time. That'd be handy. And also, we're thinking up, or dreaming up at this stage, practice camps overseas and playing against other teams leading into the next edition of the BPL.
Yeah, well, having coached a little bit in the subcontinent, I'd like to wish you all the best with that.
Thanks, mate.
It sounds good in theory. And what about coaching goals, mate? Do you have aspirations to coach international, like an Australian international team, or where to from here?
Yeah, look, I'm still learning, mate. I'm still learning what I really want to do. I've taken on the head coach role here, not to come here and say I'm going to turn Bangladesh into the #1 team in the world, which it's going to take a bit longer than the 2-year contract period. But to find out what I'm actually good at, and if I'm any good at this, well, I'd like to continue. At the moment, I'm probably leaning a bit more towards like a batting role, a batting mentor within a group. I think I can offer a lot more in that sort of area than the whole development of a cricket team, a cricket structure in this part of the world, and to deal with someone like the Australians, just kids who actually want to be there, who want to learn, that'd give me a real buzz, and that's what I'm searching for.
Yeah, well, Stewie, thanks for taking the time to have an interview with us. I'm sure all the would-be coaches and coaches looking to improve and to work out their own methodologies will really appreciate the fact that you've been speaking to us. So,
thanks,
cheers, mate.
And good luck, eh?
Thank you.
Fucking good luck.